All right, hello, welcome back. And as promised, we're doing the part two of how to find the profitable niche in Amazon KDP. And again, I am with Ben. Ben, you're in Texas. I know that. How are you today?
I'm doing good. What about you, Arvin?
Well, I'm here in the Philippines still, so I'm doing great. It's what time is it
Nice.
now? It's 4 in the morning, but yeah, it's actually I'm cool with it. So I'm getting used to it now. So yeah,
Good.
Ben. So the last time, we talked about I think three criteria on how to find the most profitable niche in Amazon if you're interested in doing or writing and launching books in Amazon KDP. So can you do like a little recap of what we covered the last time?
So let's do it. So, quick
Mm-hmm.
recap. So, last time we talked about the first three criteria for finding a profitable niche on Amazon for your KDP book. I'll share my screen really quick and we can go over those. And I'll mention the next one. We're going to probably do three more in this video. So,
All right.
how this works. So, the first three that we talked about. So, on page one of search results in the books category, when you choose or doing research, so crochet for beginners and hydroponics are the two we'll look at. We're looking to see that there's at least five, ideally five books that are already showing up that have our phrase or keyword in the title. Why? Because that tells us that we're on the right track in terms of this is a keyword that we could probably write a book around. It helps validate that for us. Between two and four is where you're starting to get yellow. And if there's 0 to 1, it's probably red. Red might not always be bad. It could just be that this is a niche that's up and coming and there's just not as many competitors in it yet. And that's why we have these other criteria. So the second one is how many competitors are showing up in the category. Less than 1,000 is good, 1,000 to 4,000, yellow, and more than 5,000. Actually, this should really be more than 4,000 is where we start to get into our red zone. And the last one we talked about last video was the monthly search volume, abbreviated here as SV. Greater than 1,500 monthly searches is are green, good. 500 to 1,500 yellow, and less than 500 is red. The next one we're going to talk about average bestsellers rank. Before we do, I'm just going to go through a quick example. So if we use crochet for beginners, which I already have open, so always make sure we're searching in the books category here. And our
Mm-hmm.
first one is, are we going to see at least five people that have this in their title? If we start scrolling, we see one, we see crochet for beginners, two. I've already gone through, so I'm just going to tell everyone there are at least five. So we're green for that. Next, we look at how many search results, or sorry, how many competitor results are showing in category. There are over 9,000. We don't need to know the exact number. We just need to know it's a lot. It's over 9,000. So for us, that's going to be red. But then monthly search volume. We have right here, and again, we're validating with Helium 10, 2,500 plus monthly searches. We can even check out the trend here. There are free tools we talked about in the last video, which again, if you haven't seen, we'll put a link down below in the comments. All right. The next one we're going to look at is average BSR. This stands for bestsellers rank. Arvin, tell us a little bit more about BSR.
Yeah, BSR is the best seller rank, and how it works, the lower the BSR, the better, meaning that you're ranking organically better compared to your competitors. And it's based on the category, of course, of the book that you're selling. Yeah, that's just how
Awesome.
it works in Amazon.
So what we're looking
Mm-hmm.
at on Amazon for our search term as we're going through these is less than 200,000 BSR is going to be great. 200 to 400,000 yellow, anything above that it starts to get into our red zone. Now again, remember, if we have one red for a search term, that doesn't mean that we can immediately disqualify it, but we're going to tabulate all of these together. So if we've got a couple of good greens, we got some yellows, we got some red. These are all things that help tell us, is this a good thing to build a book around? So just to use these as an example, crochet for beginners, you can see the average BSR in the books category on page one is 32,000. And we also typed in hydroponics as an example, and you can see hydroponics, our average BSR is 467,000, which it's reloading. But so those are two examples here. And it even gives us the min and max, which is super useful. So in
Mm-hmm.
those cases, crochet for beginners falls in our green, hydroponics would fall in our red. Any questions about that, Arvin?
No, actually, yeah, I know that there's a lot of criteria that you will be covering today, and I want to make sure that this video is going to be useful for our viewers. And to our viewers who have questions, please drop it in the comment section or reach out to us on our LinkedIn profile that's also attaching this channel. Go on, Ben.
Good call out. All right, our next criteria. So we covered average bestsellers rank. The next thing we want to check is, are there some sellers that are actually crushing it? So our next one is number of listings in the books category on page one for our search term that have at least a BSR of 30,000 or less. Why is this important? This helps tell us that we can potentially have a breakout book that actually does sell super well. And that's all what we're going for with writing these books is we obviously want to have something that crushes it on Amazon. Now, important to call out is you also want to stay away from categories that have really big names in them. If we're selling a book that's about entrepreneurship or self-help or motivation and we're going up against Tony Robbins, well, his book is definitely going to have a sub 30,000 BSR, and that doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily mean the same thing as a category with no big names, right? So we're trying to find categories that have enough demand, and there are books with under 30K BSR, but it's not from like a big name author. Does that make sense, Arvin?
Makes sense. Yep, that's right.
Cool. How we do this really easy way is you can scrape using Helium 10, Jungle Scout, Unicorn Smasher. And one thing Arvin just told me is that we can quickly on Helium 10 click this little filter to hide sponsored products, which I didn't even know about. And we're going to validate so crochet for beginners. Are there some books here that are showing with less than 30,000 BSR in the books category? We can see that yes, there are. We have a 14,252, 943. 1,500. This is great. This is a really good sign. It tells us there are people crushing it. We even see a couple that are right at 31,000. To me, that still counts, but remember, these are not rough or they're not exact numbers. They're rough ranges that help identify if this is a winner or not. So crochet for beginners, we've got more than two. That's going to be a green. Hydroponics, we can quickly do another example here and let's just see what comes up. Arvin, does this make sense or do you have any questions? I hope this is going
No,
makes sense to
actually,
you as well.
everything that you're saying right now makes sense. I mean, all of these metrics that you've said, and we talked about it the last time that you don't really like strictly follow all of this criteria, especially if you have something that you really like writing, but it's not meeting the criteria that you've set. You can still continue. It's just really a guide for you to say that okay, this is a good book to launch and write in Amazon. So yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, I understand everything. Go on.
Love it. So hydroponics is an example. We actually see scrolling through here, there's none that hit our 30,000 BSR. We have one that's close up here, and we have a couple other that are 40, 47,000. So we're close. We're not all the way there yet. So that is going to be a red for hydroponics. All right. I think how many more should we do? Should we do another one for this video?
Yep. Let's do one
Okay,
more.
cool. The next one's going to be average revenue of the page one search results. Okay, now, of course, this is important because we want to validate again a little bit further that there are a lot of people shopping and purchasing books. Now, this criteria, I would say this is one of the ones that I don't look at as intensely, but it's kind of a cosmetic, nice to have thing. Our criteria is going to be if the average on page one is greater than $10,000, that's really good. 4,000 to 10,000 is pretty good. Less than 4,000 starts to get a little bit more red. To be honest, though, even if it is there around maybe like 2,500, I'm still okay with it. But the higher, the better for this. So just to pull up our results again. So crochet for beginners, we can see that the average revenue is 93. So this is, I would say, to me, that's right on the cusp of green.
Mm-hmm.
Hydroponics, on the other hand, has a pretty low average revenue.
Yeah.
So that starts to get us into kind of that red zone. I mean, this is pretty in the red, right?
I was
So
thinking to
again,
write about that one, so completely we're gonna remove that. All
yeah.
right. Mhm.
So that one's an easy one. I think we should do one more, and then we can save everything else for part three.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can have everything on part three. To me, the only
Okay.
question I have right now is, of course, you've shared a lot of criteria, and to anyone, to our viewers who's interested, could they like reach out to you on your LinkedIn profile if they want to have a copy of that criteria that you're sharing to us today?
Yeah, that's a great idea. So if you want to just get a copy of this Google Sheet, message Arvin or I on LinkedIn, or you can go to our website, producthouse.com. We'll put a link down below. And in the chat bot on the bottom right, just go ahead and ask for this guide, and we will send it to you via email or otherwise. So,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
that's a
message
good
you
call.
too because I don't have access to that. I don't think.
Oh, all right. Deal. I'll message it to you as well.
All right. Okay, I
Okay,
think that's it, Ben, and I'll see you on the third part of this video. Hopefully, you can
sounds good.
explain everything in there.
Okay, sounds good, Arvin. Thanks so much. We'll see everyone in the next one.
Bye.